Thank you for joining the session today. We're going to get started. I heard a few more people are going to filter in a little bit, but we're going to get started. So, I think where I did it. My clicker works.
Is it working?
So over the last 15 years, technology has drastically shaped the way that we interact with one another, but more important than that, it's how we revolutionize gaining influence. Today, the average person gets 561% more engagement sharing a brand message than a company who spends millions on the same exact message. The average employee has 10 times the amount of followers as their company on social media. Sorry, this thing's a little wonky.
Is it not working?
The internet has allowed us to connect with anyone we want anywhere in the world, which is why one person can have more consumer trust and influence than an entire organization. This is our new reality. The reality is your personal brand is going to bring a lot more traction than any company that you're representing, any business that you're starting, any cause that you're leading. You yourself are who people want to follow and who's going to make those millions and get that traction. My name is Adrian White.
Yeah, the clicker's on.
Yeah. My name is Adrian White. And I am an award-winning brand strategist and web designer. I'm also the CEO and founder of AMW Marketing and Design. I'm happy to be here today and be invited by McWin to speak to you on personal branding. I have a personal, just kind of, McWin has a great place in my heart. I've known Andrina for a number of years now. I'm also, obviously a minority, but I'm also a Christian entrepreneur. My faith is important to me, and I like to include that, in anything that I do in regards to business. So it's a wonderful organization. I'm glad you guys are here today to attend this year's conference. A little bit of background about me is I am a Hampton University graduate. Are there any other Hampton alums? I know we got one. All right. But I went to Hampton, and prior to launching my marketing design firm, I worked for multiple corporations and agencies within the DC area in marketing, branding, sales, and graphic design. And during my free time, I like to attend live performances. I sing in my church's choir. I've traveled to over 15 countries abroad, and I like eating, especially ethnic cuisine. So let's get right into why do you need a personal brand? Who in here knows what a personal brand is?
I was just asking myself.
Right.
Oh, you want me to tell you?
Yeah. So what's a personal brand to you?
So what I think a personal brand is, it stands for who you are. That thing that resonates with other people. So it could be a slogan, it could be a couple of words, but something that resonates with you as a person, not necessarily your company or your business. That's what I think.
That's good. Does anybody else have a definition they want to share? Okay. So a personal brand is basically a person, who is basically acting like they are their own business. So they are promoting themselves, which in turn is selling different products and services and allowing people to really resonate with that specific person. For example, Oprah. She has her own brand, the Oprah brand, own everything, the Oprah Winfrey Network, the Oprah Winfrey Show. Everything is about her, Oprah Winfrey, and you know her story, you know her background. She has branded herself really, really well, and that's how she was able to become so successful. So let's talk about why do you actually need a personal brand. So building a personal brand that resonates with your target audience is going to allow you to stand out, increase your sales, and gain notoriety. So you can be featured in the media, on TV, newspapers, whatever your goals are with that. And it's a much quicker way than if you were just to brand your company alone. All entrepreneurs should have an active personal brand that aligns with your business goals if you want to become successful. If you just have your company alone and nobody sees who is the person behind that company, it's just going to take a lot longer time for you to grow the following than if you're able to add a personal touch. So the strategies that I'm going to share with you today, I learned after years of growing my marketing design firm while I was also managing a full-time job for most of that time, trying to deal with my family and different health issues that were occurring and maintain a normal social life. And I finally figured out how to develop a personal brand that resonated with my target audience and converted more leads. And this resulted in receiving quadruple what I was getting paid for my business. I just upped my prices and the customers were still coming. So obviously something was working there. And also I have a social presence that's growing daily. If you didn't see my banner, if you can't see the bottom, you can follow me. My @ is Miss Adrian M White, and I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. So I'm really passionate about guiding other women on how to do the same thing that I did, and that's what I do as founder of AMW Marketing and Design. Daily, I help female entrepreneurs launch and refine their brands and launch uniquely crafted brands and websites that convert. And resulting in making more money, having a brand that they can be proud of, and really having a professional representation online. How many of you guys are currently happy with either your personal website, if you have a personal website, or your company's website, if you have a company website? Raise your hand if you are. Okay, I see a little. I see a half a hand getting there. Okay. A lot of people are not happy with it. So, it's, especially with websites, a lot of.
I have a question.
Oh, okay.
And so, you mentioned there's a difference between a personal website and a company website. And I visit a lot of different websites because I'm in that middle place of trying to figure out if I want to have a personal website. And I know some individuals who make 6-7 figures who have a personal website, and they get more traffic there than their business website. And in terms of being a business owner, right, we're paying attention to our bottom line, to our expenses. So what do you think makes sense? The business or the personal or both?
So I'm going to talk about this a little bit later in the presentation, but both.
Oh.
Long story short.
Okay.
Okay, so today I'm going to tell you about 5 different strategies that I recommend on how you can build a personal brand that's going to resonate with your target audience. The different strategies today I'm going to speak about are being authentic, choosing your target audience, creating an irresistible offer, optimizing your website, and having a content strategy. So let's dive into strategy number 1, be authentic. So branding is not about positioning yourself as something that you are not. It's about purposely and strategically showcasing your authentic self to your audience and your customers. Your personal brand should be a true reflection of your skills, passions, values, and beliefs. So when you have a personal brand, a lot of people go onto Instagram and they have their own personal page and they want to start branding themselves and they want to attract, more followers. But when they post on there, they don't show the real them. So they're like, okay, I have to have my makeup done, I have to have my hair done, I have to be dressed this way, and I can only talk about certain things. Like I can't talk about how I was sick yesterday and it was really tough for me to get through my work day, or how managing my family and kids, is a struggle every day. You don't want to do that. You want to be authentic to who you are, because people actually resonate more with the authenticity of showing your highs and your lows versus someone that's appearing so perfect. And it's actually been a statistical fact that posts that are about you being really authentic or something that didn't go the way you wanted usually get more traction and likes and follows than posts that are not like that. And a good quote I like is, you want to find the special thing that is you and make your brand all about that. You can't make it up. It has to be real, though it can probably should be a little exaggerated. So you can exaggerate a little bit, which means that you can, like maybe you're not really someone that posts online a lot, so maybe you have to kind of force yourself to do the Insta Live stories or do a little bit more posts, a little bit more than you're naturally. Like I'm kind of like that where in general I don't take a lot of pictures, but I'm like, okay, it's for my brand. I want to stay connected, so I do post a little bit more now that I'm trying to build my personal brand. So to build a strong brand foundation, start by taking inventory of the branding assets that you already possess. The intersection of these assets is where you should build your personal brand. So start thinking about what are your skills and credentials, which would be your degrees, your certifications, anything professionally that you could write on a resume. Passions and interests are, what do you like to do for fun? What are you good at? What has God gifted you with? And then core values and beliefs are, so for me, I love following Christ. I go to church every Sunday. I sing in the choir. So I'm not going to remove that from my brand. On my Instagram page, it says I'm a Jesus lover. And if someone is not about that, they might not follow me. Who cares? So once you identified your existing brand assets, the next step is to start piecing together the key elements of your personal brand. These will help guide your decisions as you build your personal brand. So the key assets that you need to start kind of thinking about is, what is your brand vision? So what do you want to be known for? What is it you do? Who are you? Something that, again, going back to Instagram, just because it's a lot of people that have personal brands, they're on Instagram, you can kind of see what's going on in their life. You want to stay really focused about whatever your brand vision is. So don't have your brand vision say, I love working out and inspiring people, and then I also like doing marketing, and I'm a dog walker, and I, like to go on vacation. Like, it's a little bit too much if you're trying to sell something through those through those ways. So try and choose one or two specific topics and focus in on it. Go, dive straight into that. And then your brand mission, who do you want to influence and what do you want to accomplish? Your brand message, if you could only give one piece of advice to your audience, what would it be? Which goes back to what I said of focusing on one topic or one or two. And then brand personality, what are some of your personal characteristics and traits that you can weave into your brand? So for that, if you are, the jokester of your friend group, incorporate that into your brand. Like, have your posts be funny, have people resonate with your actual personality, which is great. You don't have to water down your personality for online.
So when you say kind of narrow in on two areas that you want to focus on, are you saying that for the description of your, like for your Instagram, I know you had mentioned being a Jesus lover, like in your description at the top, are you saying that's where you would put that information? Or?
So, yeah, so basically.
Or in your posts, like your posts are related to
both.
Those things.
So it's both. So in your description, you need to be really clear about what you do. Most like really successful entrepreneurs that I know that are good at personal branding, they'll say, I specialize in this service to this, community. Be it, like that's it. And they might say some of their interests, but they're not things that they're trying to sell them on. So like if I am in marketing, but I also am health focused, I'm not trying to encourage people health-wise and sell some type of product to the health community, as I'm also trying to sell this marketing guide that I just created. It's two different audiences, and it's gonna be, basically you're gonna split your audience in half, which isn't good or whatever. So half of the posts that you do, half of your audience isn't gonna care or whatever. So try and have it where all the posts that you post, the people, your audience will care. So pick that one thing you do, or if it's two things that kind of work together. So for example, I do branding and I do web design, but they go hand in hand most of the time. So another good quote, a great brand starts with understanding who you are, what you stand for, understanding your marketplace, and understanding what is the perception that you need to create in order to appeal to the target audience that you're trying to appeal to? So strategy number 2, choose your target audience. How many people in here know who you are marketing to for your business or your brand? Okay, 1, 2, 3, okay. All right, about a third of y'all, okay.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
What if you don't really, what if you can't really relate to your audience?
Why can't you relate?
My target audience are parents.
Okay,
I'm not a parent
okay,
yet.
Okay.
So it's just, I don't think they'd be interested in me.
Okay.
You know?
So, okay, so what are you selling or servicing them with?
So I have a program for high school students.
Okay,
And so it's basically, I'm preparing them for college. So I've been to college and their child has not yet been to college. So I guess that's where we're at.
yeah, so, 1, you don't have to experience something to be an expert in it.
Right.
Or whatever, so when you can talk to them, so basically, and we're gonna talk about this, basically you need to, you know your target audience, just research about what are they interested in, what topics do they like, what do they watch on TV, what type of books do they read. If you know all that information, you can market to them. It doesn't matter, you know, if you are not specifically a parent, you might know more about parenting or high schoolers than parents, you know, some parents do. So just, it's all about the research that you do with them. And once you get really clear on like who that person is that you're marketing to and what they look like and what they're interested in, you'll feel like you are more of the expert. What they, you know, their lifestyle. And also, I'm passing around, I'm not sure what right now, there's a clipboard with the email list, so I'm passing around a brand, personal brand worksheet where you can actually fill out, you know, your target audience and figure out, you know, what that is, so sign up for it. Okay, so one of the biggest mistakes you can make as you build a personal brand is trying to appeal to everyone, which we talked about a little bit. In reality, not everyone is your ideal client. Don't need to serve men, women, young, old, parents, single, like you don't need to do that. And people don't feel any type of way about not being in your target market. My dad is. Sorry, I got my entrepreneur juju. So in order to attract your perfect clients, you must be willing to repel those who you do not want to work with. This means identifying a specific target audience and building a brand that is attractive to them. So you actually want to try and get as specific as you can about who your target audience is. Like for me, maybe I'll say, my target audience are women, maybe minority women, ages 30 to 40, and they are mainly college educated, and like I'm gonna get really specific with that group or whatever, and I don't care about the people that don't fall, because if those people want to work with you, they still will contact you to work with you. So you just don't need to speak to all of them when you're trying to create your messages on.
I have a question about that.
Mm-hmm.
Are you gonna specify the age range, or you're just gonna look for where you can find them?
I would recommend specifying the age range if you can. So some people, the age range might be bigger. You might say, whatever, 25 to 60. But if you're thinking that there's a lot of differences in lifestyles for people that are like 20 to 30 versus 50 to 60. So that might be two separate markets, and you have to figure out how to speak to both of them because the messaging is going to be a little bit different.
I'm sorry, I just wanna, I experienced this when I first started my business a long time ago. I'm a lawyer from New York, so when I first came out of law school and I started my business, I thought everyone should be my client. Everyone should be my client. I'm gonna take everyone who comes to the door. And what I experienced was burnout. That's what I experienced, because I was taking on more than I could truly handle, despite the fact that, loans go up and bills go up. But then I started realizing some of my clients, we didn't have the same perspective. So I'm Christian, they necessarily were not. So I spent a lot of energy also talking about convincing them why God's important.
Oh man.
And I'm like, well, that's not what I'm here to do. But that contributed into the burnout. So as I got older and more immersed in my business, I started narrowing it the way you suggested, by gender, age, spirituality, and it gets narrower and narrower, and then you can really focus.
So what was your target market once you narrowed it?
Once I narrowed it, it tended to be ages 30 to 45, individuals who were professionals, had a job, but looking to be an entrepreneur, because I realized I love working with small business owners. I did a lot of other things, but that was my passion. And those individuals who were looking to, interested in wealth management. So it got really narrow and narrow. And at the time it was, New Yorkers. Now it's Maryland, people in Maryland. And children, no children, 2 children. So it got really specific. Gender, before it was men and women, now it's more women that I focus on. So,
Okay.
yeah.
And did you get good results?
Much better results. Much better results.
Okay. So, it may seem counterintuitive, but if you try to be liked by everyone, you will attract no one. You must be polarizing in order to stand out. Not everyone that is exposed to you or sees your message will like you or resonate with you, and that's perfectly fine. You don't need to reach everyone to build a successful business. You just need to reach your perfect clients. And the benefit of this is once you actually target your perfect clients and they look at your profile and read it and see your messages, they really are going to resonate with that brand. So they're more likely to post comments on your posts. They're more likely to purchase services and products. So that's the benefit. Did you have a question? All right, and then another quote. Sorry, I like my quotes. To have a strong personal brand, you have to stand for something, believe in a certain way of doing things, and proudly communicate those beliefs from your platform. Brands who don't achieve this get lukewarm audience response and wonder why their audiences aren't called to action by their efforts.
Okay, so my question is, once you've kind of narrowed down what your target audience is, where do you find them, and how do you, I guess, reach out to them, or how do they know to come to? How do they know that to come to you?
Okay.
You know?
So the free way to do it is, one way you can do it is by the hashtags that you're using, like on Instagram or Facebook. You also can look for them. So let's say you're in LinkedIn, you might find a group that has that target audience, and you can kind of share your either your personal brand or your company with them. You can message them. And then the paid way to do it is on Facebook, the advertising parameters are super specific and really good. So you can say, I'm looking for this age range, I want them to live here, I want them to be a woman, yada, yada, yada. Facebook, you can actually advertise for pretty cheap. I've done $25 ads for a week and gotten some traction. Also, the more that you post about whatever those topics are that they're interested in, they'll find you too. So continue on choosing your audience. A valuable exercise that I recommend doing is creating your perfect client profile, also known as a client avatar. That's what's in the brand worksheet. The more you understand about your perfect client, including their desires and challenges, the more prepared you will be to create products and services that they'll truly want and need. So learn about their demographics. What is their age, gender, education, relationship status, income, profession, desires and aspirations. What is their desired future? What are their dreams, goals, and aspirations? And this can be even separate from what your business does. What are they interested in general? And then pain points and challenges. What are they struggling with, and what is preventing them from achieving their goals? Foundation of a strong personal brand is how well you understand your audience and the problems they face. Then you can define why you care and how to solve these problems, which is what you'll be remembered for. Number 3, so this gets a little fun. This is where you create your offer to sell them to get that money. In order to build a profitable personal brand, you need to have something to sell to your target audience. So you can be posting, but why not make some money while you posting too? You need an irresistible offer that helps your audience solve a specific problem or achieve a specific result. A lot of entrepreneurs make the mistake of creating a product or service that they want, only to discover that no one else wants it or is willing to pay for it. This is why identifying your perfect client before you create a product or service is so important. When you know exactly who you want to help, you can create an offer that is the perfect solution for them. Position yourself as a specialist and not as a generalist. Promise your clients a very specific outcome and design a specialized offer to help them achieve that outcome. A generic offer with a vague promise is definitely not irresistible. Next, find the overlap between what you love, what you do best, and what your ideal clients want most. Then create an offer that sits at the intersection of these criteria. And then this is the formula to figure out what you should be offering them. So, what do you love to do? Plus, what do you do best? Plus, what does your audience want most? So, once you figure out, do all that research we talked about prior with what are your passions, what are you good at, who's your target market, what are they interested in? If you can figure out what is the offer in between that is your irresistible offer. And it could just be one thing to keep it really focused. Once you have an irresistible offer, you need to be able to articulate it clearly to your audience. Here are 2 questions that you need to be able to answer clearly and succinctly. What do you do? Your answer to this question is your value proposition. What is the value that you provide to your clients in exchange for charging them? And how do you do it? Give your process, product, or service a unique name. When you give it a name, it immediately stands out from any competing offers that promise the same result. So one example of this is Nicholas Kuznick, who is a Facebook advertising strategist. He helps businesses rapidly scale revenue by getting more clients using Facebook advertising. To help him stand out from thousands of other Facebook advertising experts that do the same thing, he developed a proprietary process and gave it a unique name, contextual congruence. Which is like, what does that mean? Sounds interesting. I want to learn more. So this is like an ad that he has, which also could probably be the top of his website as well. So he says, what do? I help businesses rapidly scale revenue by getting more clients and customers using Facebook advertising, and I'm the guy behind the highest campaign ROIs in the world. I do it better than anyone else in the world because of contextual congruence, my proprietary process developed based on the marriage between direct response marketing and understanding social behavior. We specialize in working with high-growth companies, including thought leaders, influencers, professional service providers, e-commerce companies, and big brands. Our expertise is behind the psychology of running high-yielding Facebook advertising campaigns, whether that is through our fully managed private client work, our consulting, our intensive training events, our keynote speaking. So this is a mouthful, obviously, but he says what he does, and it sounds like, when I read it, I'm like, oh, he's expensive. And if I really need the Facebook advertising, it's like, oh, he's expensive, but he might really know what he's doing, and I need to go through this process. So strategy number 4, so we're coming to the landing soon. Strategy number 4 is optimizing your website. And I love websites and web design, so I love this part. But having a personal website is an important component of building a personal brand. Having a strong presence on social media is important too, but you do not own or control any of the social platforms that you establish a presence on. So your profile could go away in a second. You don't have full control of the different things that you're linking to or not linking to, but with your website, you can do whatever you want with it. Your website is a platform that you own and control, and in many cases, visiting your website was one of the steps your target audience takes towards becoming a client. So when you're leading people to different things that you're selling or promoting, most likely you'll be leading them to your website. So they're gonna be looking, where's your personal site, or where are you leading them to? First impressions are critical. When your target audience visits your personal website, they should be able to immediately understand who you are and how you can help them. They should feel like they've come to the right place. If this doesn't happen within a few seconds, most new visitors will leave your website. If anybody's familiar with like Google Analytics or has like looked at that before, oftentimes you'll see something called a bounce rate, and you're like, what is a bounce rate? And basically a bounce rate is a percentage of how quickly someone leaves your site. So if someone goes on your site for a couple seconds and then they close the window, go to something else, you will probably have a high bounce rate if you have a lot of those. You want to try and not have a high bounce rate, which is why you want them to spend more than a few seconds on your site. Your website should be optimized to convert casual visitors into paying clients. There are several key elements required to make this happen, and most of them belong right on your homepage. Some key elements of a website homepage are a professional logo, your value proposition, professional photography, social proof, so if you have any media mentions or testimonials, and a clear call to action. And this is just a little scroll of some sites I've done. Other important pages, the About page. Share your personal story. How did you get into your industry? What experiences and credentials do you have? Who do you help? How do you help them? And why do you do what you do? What products and services are you offering? Make it easy for your website visitors to become clients and customers. List any products, programs, or services you have for sale, along with links to learn more about them or purchase them, depending on what your sales for each one. And something I want to mention in regards to this is, so a lot of times on our business websites, we're offering multiple services, but to start off, if you are in the process of creating or revising your personal site, I would lead them to one specific offer that you're gonna do, so that irresistible offer, make it really clear and easy for them to be able to purchase that without distracting them with these other things that you're offering. Next is content and free resources. You can do blog posts, podcast episodes, helpful videos, or lists of resources you've created or recommended, and then a contact page, which gives your website visitors a specific way to contact you. Give them different methods for contacting you, email, social media, and based on why they are contacting you. And when you build your brand that's 100% based on you, you lay the foundation to capitalize on your own blue ocean, a space where you can operate in an uncontested marketplace, free from traditional competitive forces, because none of your competitors can replicate or clone all that's unique and proprietary to you. So what's gonna make your personal brand stand out is you. Nobody can replicate you. So last strategy is strategy 5, which is have a content strategy. So this part is probably one of the most challenging parts of all the steps, unfortunately, but there's different tools that you have to help you with the content. So creating and distributing free content is one of the most effective ways to build your brand and earn the trust of your target audience. Instead of trying to convince your audience that you can help them, you create content that actually helps them. This builds trust and helps to position you as an expert and an authority in your industry. It's not a coincidence that the most successful personal brands today publish significant amounts of content online to help build and nurture their audiences. So really think about what can you offer that target audience that's gonna be helpful to them. For me today, I have a personal branding worksheet, so you can take this information, you can actually get started on, how are you developing your personal brand. So you can offer different things like that that are gonna resonate with your target market online. And some of them are not as challenging to create. To create a content strategy for your personal brand, start by creating a list of all the potential topics that would be helpful to your target audience. Google Keyword Planner is a great tool for doing keyword research and discovering popular topics. So I use Google Keyword Planner a lot, and basically you can use it if you think about what you want to be found for on Google, or what that content you're creating is found for on Google. You can just type in all these different keywords. So branding worksheet, personal branding, and see what the search results are for it, to see if you want to actually use it. Are people even searching for what you're trying to do?
know the actual name of it, but I know it's like a plugin. Is that what you're talking about?
The Google Keyword one?
It's on Google Chrome. Like if you search in something in Google Chrome, you can download a plugin. And any time that you search on Google, it gives you like how many people searched a month, and you can actually change to country.
That's good. So is it that rank?
It's I'm horrible with this. I just went to like a Google workshop for like SEOs and different things like that. But if you search like Google Chrome plugin, it should give you something where you can like look up where to download it.
Okay.
And I downloaded it and it was really helpful. Like I was surprised. It showed me what people were actually searching for.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of good ones that are out there. The one I use is called That Rank, and you basically it's like the Google plugin or Chrome plugin, and then you put the keywords in, and you can see what that website comes up for, what the search rank.
You said it's called FatRank?
Yeah, FATRANK. But yeah, there's probably a lot of them out there. So research.
Yeah.
So some common content types that you could create are different texts and articles, videos, podcasts, webinars, online courses, PDF guides, checklists and worksheets, infographics, slideshows, and case studies. And some of the mediums that you can post those content on are your own blog or website, podcast directories like iTunes, YouTube, other blogs and online publications, so you could guest blog on another person's website and promote that post. Social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, etc. Your email, SlideShare, and Quora. And for content marketing to work, it's important to focus on quality and consistency. Don't publish content that will reflect poorly on your brand, and be consistent with how often you publish new content for your audience. Content marketing is a long-term play, but it pays incredible dividends when done correctly. So you want to create, basically content strategy that incorporates some free, things that you're offering your audience. So some of your posts could be encouraging, some of them could be to sign up for a free guide, some of them could be to sell whatever your irresistible offer is, but you want to try and create a mix of content for them. And not make all your posts salesy. Only 20% of your posts should be selling something. 80% should be about what they're interested in somehow. Creating and promoting content is also more time consuming and expensive than people realize. For that reason, I recommend starting with 1 to 2 primary content types. So blog posts, videos, along with 1 to 2 primary content mediums such as YouTube. Once you start getting good results with your primary content type and medium, then go ahead and expand into other content types and mediums to reach more people. So if you're into blogging, keep blogging, be consistent with that. If you're into posting little videos and going on Instagram Live and stuff, keep doing that until you are getting a following and getting people to actually interact with it. And once you've done it, I would say for at least 6 months and are getting good traction, then you can consider moving to like another medium. But don't give up the first one. Try and keep all of them going at the same time. And you might need to hire maybe like an admin assistant or something eventually to help with that, but it's worth it long term. So in conclusion, building a personal brand that resonates with your target audience is going to allow you to stand out, increase sales, and gain notoriety in a much quicker way than if your company was just to brand itself alone. All entrepreneurs should have an active personal brand, like I mentioned before, that aligns with their business goals if they want to become successful. Maybe you're looking for a new job, or you're interested in being a community organizer. You might need funding for a cause, or you have a great business idea. Your personal brand is one of the most powerful tools to accomplish these goals. And branding today is about people creating and sharing human experiences and your personal experience. So it's time to capitalize on that reality with your personal brand. So hope you've enjoyed the presentation today. If you're interested in learning more about me and what I do and maybe how I can help you with your branding and web design strategy. I have some time next week that I have some openings for a call if you want to discuss with me about your plans, or want to come up with a plan on how you're going to get your personal brand off the ground. And whatever your biggest challenges are, I've faced them. I've dealt with a number of clients. I only work with female entrepreneurs. So for the last 6 years, I've been working with female entrepreneurs to help them launch and redefine their brands. So on the call, I'll craft exact plan with you on how you can get this personal brand up and running. And there's no cost for it, but you need to be an expert in what you do. You need to be ready to take your business to the next level, and you must hold yourself to the highest level of professionalism and honesty. So if that's you, I invite you to book a session. You can go to uniquebrands.convert.com, and it's limited spaces, but if you're available to do it, you can do it from your phone, or you can save it for later to do it. So, appreciate you guys. Yeah, I'll go back. Sorry. Appreciate you guys. We have about.
Where you based?
I'm in Silver Spring, Maryland.
Everyone is in Silver
Oh,
Spring.
Does anybody have any questions?
I have a quick question. So I'm really type A, and so I feel a little all over the place, but let's use like Andrina for an example. She has a personal brand of Andrina, then she founded McQuinn, and then she has a business, like a consulting business. How do you navigate through
Managing.
yeah, like who you are, how they connect, do you care if they connect, should they connect, your personal brand and your business, or how do you really like kind of?
So I would recommend one at a time. Personally, for me, I started my company, and then I started, my personal branding. Usually you need something that you're gonna sell to them, so you probably would have a company that you start. Just try it one at a time though. So like, if you are, you yourself, you're promoting yourself, and then you have a company and you have different services, try and build your company up while you're building up your personal brand before you go on a third endeavor to create another organization or something. But it could be a little bit challenging. Some people, they will have all of those different profiles and they'll link to it, so they'll say founder of this, founder of that, but they don't go into depth on their personal profile about what they're doing with all those different things.
Would you say it's always good to, probably so, but like attach on your business page, like, I guess a link to your personal page?
So on your
Business page.
So on your company page.
Or social media.
I mean, you
business
can.
company.
I don't really have an opinion about that one way or the other. I mean, some people do, some people don't. It could help. You might get some more followers if someone lands on your business page first. I know, I would say the opposite is important. So on your personal page, make sure to have links to, your businesses. But I don't think it's gonna make a big difference.
Can I add to that, Rhea? So the interesting thing is that I always think about what I look for when I'm going out to a website or something. I know for me, I'm a deep diver, and I do like to see who's behind the business. So for me, going to a business website, I am the one who'll go to the About Us page, and I would like to see the face of the person. So a lot of times when I don't see a face, there's not as much trust in the business. Like, why are you hiding? Like I have more questions. So I do like to connect with the person behind the business and, to hear some of the story, even if it is just their picture and a link to, learn more about them. But, so I always try to think about what I look for as a consumer when it comes to my business. Yeah.
Thanks for the point. Thanks for having me. Does anybody else have any questions?
And this might be reserved for our strategy call, but I have supporters and not followers. So there are people that watch me every single Wednesday on my Winning Wednesday segment. They'll never be my clients. What am I doing wrong?
So are they primarily friends and like people you know.
Yes, they're
Friends and
supporters, you know,
families, okay.
they appreciate who I am, and they know that I have, quality content to say, but, you know, they'll never be my client.
Are you using any hashtags when you post content?
Sometimes.
Okay, so I would definitely recommend doing some hashtag research on what hashtags relate to the content you're posting and what your target audience is interested in. And you might want to consider doing a little bit of ad. So if you have like a good free offer, like a guide or something, spend $30 on an ad for a week. And one, you'll get more followers, and two, you'll have people that are actually interested in whatever that is that you're offering.
Okay, thank you. Do you ever think of doing like a buddy system call to action type thing? So that people who you know who you are supporters, find a way to call them to do something with like another person.
Share or post or ask for
Yeah,
referrals.
and then it would help them as well as the person that they're pulling on, which could possibly give you a client, if that makes sense.
Okay. Because sometimes I find that people that support you, like your friends and family, they're not really sure what you need. So just, you know, just kind of giving them guidance as to like.
How they can help you,
Mhm.
exactly.
Yeah, that's good. So, I mean, there's different things that you can do. So one, you could do a referral program. So, you know, you can outline exactly what type of client you're looking for, and then share it with your personal network of friends and family, and say, if you hear or you know of people that fit this criteria, please share it with you. I will incentivize you, you know, if they actually become a client. And then I like you guys were saying about like sharing the posts and stuff too. So, a lot of times you have to tell people what you need from them. So even if it's you writing up like a draft email for your friends and family that says, my daughter just started this business, she's looking for this, you know, you can tap into their network too and send it to your parent to send out or whatever. You know, you never know. All right, any final questions? Okay, well, I want to thank you guys for your time today and attending this session. I have business cards if anybody wants to stay connected with the card too. And then I also have the clipboard that's coming around. So thank you. Yeah, so I'm going to email it to you guys.
Okay.
It's on that clipboard.
Does anybody need the clipboard?
Did everybody sign or does it? Oh, okay.
No, I'm a perfectionist, I can't do it right now. I gotta figure out what I want to use it for too, because I just got, like a few headshots that I used for like professional. But now I want to like
It's still recording?
like not
Oh.
professional or like something like fun.
Thank you again to Adrian. Awesome. So we're gonna head over to the main conference room for our closing session.